1776 declared freedom or independence from Great Britain. The British had been
Hold on.
Oh, we're not reading the book.
I know he's explaining something about the book.
Dad, this is Ashley's friend Aaron.
Aaron.
He
Hi,
is
Aaron.
He's my
butcher's
best friend.
apprentice at Safeway, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
okay. Anyhow,
Okay.
on a routine basis, Heather and Kathy and my wife Ann used to sit down on July 4th, and I would read the Declaration of Independence out loud so that we kind of got the sense
Of what this day is
of
about.
what this day is about.
I'm with you. You better listen and watch your mouth. I don't want to hear nothing.
Okay, this was written by Thomas Jefferson. He was a young man at the time, by the way.
Thomas Jefferson?
Mhm.
Wasn't he in his like 30s or something?
I think he was even younger
I
than
think
that.
he's in
No, he's in his 30s.
Was
Was
he?
he?
Yep.
Yeah, like early 30s.
Anyhow,
30.
in here is, to start off, it says a declaration by the representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled July 4th, 1776. And it says, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political hands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth a separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and the natures of God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impede them to the separation. Now, as a personal note, this was the first time that such a thing had ever been done
Mm-hmm.
in the world.
Yeah, because this was our separation from England.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, there had been wars.
That we actually wrote a deal for the people.
Yeah, it was an unusual event. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, though that among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governors are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, and that whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute a new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organization as powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right them by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuant in value variably the same object, evidence a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient suffering of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains the king, constrains them to alter their former system of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having to indirect object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be summarized for the entire world. He has refused his assent to laws that most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and impressing importance, unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained. And when so suspended, he is utterly neglected to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislatures, a right inestimable to them, and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unnatural, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records, for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of the people. He has refused for a long time after such dissolution to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers, incapable of annihilation, have returned to the people at large for their exercise, the state remaining in all meantime exposed to the danger of invasion from without and convulsions within. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states for the purpose of obstructing the laws for naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migration hither, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of land. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made judges depend upon his will alone for their tenure of office and for the amount and payment of their salaries.
Do you want to sit here?
He has erected a multitude of new offices and set here their swarms of officers to harass our people and to eat out their substance. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without consent of our legislation. He has affected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. He has combined with others to subject us to a judicial form out of our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws, giving him assent to their acts of pretend legislation. For quartering large bodies of armed troops among us, for protecting them by mock trial from punishment for any murders which they should commit on the inhabitants of these states, for cutting off our trade with all parts of the world, for imposing taxes without our consent, for depriving us in many cases of the benefit of trial by jury, for transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses, for abolishing the free system of English laws in a neighboring province, establishing therein an arbitrary government, and enlarging its boundaries so as to render it at once an example and fit instrument for introducing some absolute rule into these colonies, for taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, and altering fundamentally the forms of our government, for suspending our own legislatures and declaring them invested with power to legislate for us in all cases whatsoever. He has abdicated government here by declaring it to be out of his protection and waging war on us. He has plundered out at seas, ravaged our coasts, burnt our towns, and destroyed the lives of our people. He is, at this time, transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the works of death, destruction, and tyranny already begun, with circumstances of cruelties and perfidy scarcely parallel in the most barbaric ages and totally unworthy of the head of a civilized nation. He has constrained our fellow citizens, taken captive on the high seas to bear arms against their country, to become the executioners of friends and brethren, and to fallen souls by these arms. He has excited domestic insurrections among us, and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of on our frontiers the merciless Indian savages who know whose known rules of warfare is an undistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. In every stage of their operations, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which men define as tyrannical is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Nor have we been waiting in attention to our British brother. We have warned them from time to time of attempts made by the legislature to expend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our immigration and settlement here. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity, and we have compared them by the ties of our common kindred, favor these interruptions, which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have acquisition into the necessity which dominates our separation, and hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war and peace friends. We therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in General Congress, assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world, of all of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and have of right, might to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and and is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states, they have full power to levy wars, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states might have right do. And for the support of these declarations, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each of our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Woohoo!
It was really, really awesome. See, and the thing about it is that the Declaration of Independence is something that we are supposed to continue to live by. But right now, politics has nothing to do with that.
Well,
Can I try?
I know we don't usually speak about politics in this house because people have their different things, so we don't want to start a debate or an argument or something like that. But for the most part, that's what we were built on, and nobody follows that now.
oh no.
No, the people that have the power are the ones that make the decisions, and
What's crazy
man,
these days?
the people do not have a whole lot of say in things
We
these
don't,
days.
like, people always say your one vote counts, but if you really know politics,
It does.
you know that your one vote doesn't count.
But accumulation of them
Does.
maybe depends on if they're like trying to cheat or not.
Exactly.
Any
Like-
case,
All the-
we
all the-
we used to read this.
No, it's a really good tradition for the 4th of July because,
It brings us back to
yeah, where we're supposed to be.
and where we started and where we're headed.
Hardest part was when I was junior's age, is there's a lot of big words that are just way over your head.
Right, but he did so good, and I'm very proud
And
of you, buddy.
I'm
very
you know what?
proud of
I'm
you.
very proud of you too.
Very proud.
I like the
Yeah.
whole tyranny part, though. You know, that's my favorite part.
Junior, do you know what tyranny means?
No.
Go talk to Heather.
Ashley, do you want to explain what tyranny means to
You
your
can.
son?
You can.
I'd rather not. Kat is the better.
Cat.
What is tyranny to a
There you go.
5-year-old?
Tyranny
Thank you, Ted.
is when somebody tells you what to do, forces you to do it.
And it's not fair.
It's not fair, and they don't even tell you why. You have no say in it.
Sure somewhere.
You can't say, but my foot hurts. No, I can't jump on it. But you must jump on your right foot. But it
Yeah.
hurts.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's tyranny.
What we're talking about is, among others, what we're talking about is slavery. Men are required, and I say men, I mean all people, are required to do things
Thank you.
that they do not want to do.
Oh.
And they have no choice, and if they complain, they are often punished.